the strange mission of the Nazis in Tibet, in the Himalayas. Before World War II and during that war, the Nazis spent a large amount of resources and manpower trying to determine the origins of their beloved Aryan race. The institution established this to lead this effort, as well as all other avenues of occult and esoteric studies, was the Ahnenerbe, which was started by Heinrich Himmler in 1935. They conducted archaeological and cultural studies in some countries such as Sweden, Finland, Iraq, Antarctica, Poland, Greece, and in particular in Tibet. According to reports, when Hitler's Nazi Party took over the government in Germany, it funded an ambitious program to explore the mysterious and still unknown region of Tibet. Their interest stemmed from a curious amalgamation of theories from historical and linguistic science, as well as occult traditions that trace the common origin to Asian stock. The renowned explorer and naturalist Ernst Schäfer was appointed to be in charge of the expedition to Tibet. After 1933, Schäfer joined the scientific staff of the SS, and thanks to his reputation and personal abilities, he rose very quickly in that hierarchy. In the summer of 1936, Schäfer met with SS Chief Himmler, and the two men decided on the mission to Tibet. Himmler had a special appreciation of the cultures of the East and was interested in the study of Germanic prehistory, as well as the possible connections of the ancient Germans with the common cradle of the Aryans. And during the preparations, the Germans asked the British colonial administration of India to facilitate the work of the exploratory mission. The British were suspicious of the presence of Germans in Tibet on the border of India. However, they allowed passage through the country, but for access to Tibet, they referred the German mission to the Tibetan government. At the same time, they warned the latter not to allow the Germans to enter its territories. The German mission left Berlin on April 18, 1938. After a long journey, they reached Calcutta, India, and they were informed that the Tibetan government had banned their entry into the country. Undaunted, the Germans headed north into the province of Sikkim, which led into Tibet. Anthropological studies were carried out in Sikkim. They then entered the western Tibetan town of Doptra after receiving permission from the local authorities. In July 1938, they returned to Sikkim, awaiting a response from the Tibetan government to their request to enter the country. In December of that same year, the much-desired permission arrived, but only for 14 days and on the condition that they would not harm the Tibetan people and would not do away with any bird or mammal in the area, an action that would deeply hurt the religious feelings of the Tibetan people. In January 1939, the Germans entered Lhasa, where they were received by the Dalai Lama. They soon gained the trust of the Tibetans, thanks to the medical services they provided to the local population. European medicine was perceived as magical ability by the people of Lhasa. Therefore, the mission was allowed to carry out extensive investigations. Indeed, Schäfer recorded idiosyncratic religious rituals, customs, and traditions. He studied the fauna and flora while visiting architectural monuments, as well as forbidden holy places. The relationship of trust he built with the Tibetans resulted in successive extensions of the mission's stay. However, the clouds of World War II were thickening, and the deterioration of British-German relations forced the German mission to hastily depart from Tibet in August 1939, just a few weeks before Hitler's invasion of Poland. The mission was received with honors in Berlin. From the voluminous photographic and film material collected by Schäfer, an ethnographic documentary titled Mystic Tibet was created and shown in 1942. However, as early as 1940, Himmler had forbidden by secret order the release of additional information about the mission. The justification for the ban raised many questions. The SS chief announced that the main task of the mission in Tibet was of military and political importance, and not so much related to solving scientific questions, quote unquote. For many scholars, the mission essentially constituted a scouting action of espionage content in preparation for the spread of German influence in Asia and the parallel undermining of the dominant powers in the region, namely the Soviet Union and Britain. This is by News 247, and I've translated this for you from a Greek article. Please leave your comments, and thank you for your support. Kindly support my Patreon account. The daily posts are 5 videos daily, and they are totally different from what I have on my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for your support, and that you find all my content so interesting. You'll find the Patreon account details in the description box.